Hi everybody, how are you? Are you still using SurveyMonkey, or would you like to use the free software that's NDSU has available now? We have Qualtrics. In case you forget, the website that Qualtrics is on ndState.qualtrics.com. But if you forget that, we have a link right to our website. And to sign on, we're going to be using CAS, so it's your NDSU username and a password. And if you sign in and you have already an account, it'll ask if you have an account or you don't have an account. If you say yes, then all your data from the other account will come over to Qualtrics at NDSU. And to get started to make a survey, you would create a survey, and it's going to give you options if you want to build it yourself, or you can copy it like a template. I have a bunch of templates out on mine. Or you can use Qualtrics, has a bunch of surveys too. If you want to go to Qualtrics or your account, you could go to survey library to pull up the surveys that you have. And you can see what I have out there already created in myself. But if you go global, and do create, you will see a bunch. This is listing of what Qualtrics have. But since most of us don't have any in a library, let's say we want to start it from fresh. And you have to name it. I'm not going to put a folder in yet, and then I say create the survey. And then to create a question, you will create a new item, and it just automatically thought I was going to do multiple choice, but we can change that to any. We have a list of all the different kind of questions that is available. Going with Qualtrics, we have all these new ones that we couldn't do before. And another thing of going to Qualtrics, you can say, if you have a grad student that would like to help you with your survey, you can share that too, so you can work together on that. Let's stick with the multiple choice. Let's just type in gender. And if I have multiple choice checked, it just assumed that I wanted male or female. And if you don't like it up and down, you can change it in a way you want, like that. And if you want to make a header do another, create a new item, and you can do like a text. And you can also, in your headers, put pictures, or you can do like piping or anything like that. Headers will not show up in your reports, but it's helpful to kind of block your surveys off. And you have other options on the side here for display logic. If you want like only females to see the following question, you would say, if like I only want the next question for a female, I would say if question 1 is gender, if females are selected, that will be only females to see it. The only thing difference between display and skip kind of takes you off to a totally different part of the survey. And once you get done with the surveys, all the different questions you want, you would want to go and send your survey out. Activate it. You would click on the activated survey. It's going to tell you when you were activated. So you always know when you activate it and what time. And I would suggest that you would use the panels in Qualtrics to send out your surveys instead of using your NDSU email system, because in Qualtrics we don't have a limit on how many emails can be sent. Using Qualtrics, you can, the software will track who has responded and do a reminders if you want reminders. If you do NDSU, it will be sending everybody's email and you don't know who's responded. And you can just fill out the email addresses, or if you already have a panel, like I can type in my name, and I have panels with my name in it.
Can you import this one from an Excel spreadsheet?
Yes, you can. I just, in Excel, I just take the email address and just copy it right in the first cell, and it just drops right straight down. Or you can import it if it's in common CBS. You can just import it. And I say that I want the whole panel. And then you tell when you want it to go out. And I would say, send now. It's going to make you to put in the subject. And when I do surveys, I put who they're from, instead of my name, and then I leave the email address as mine. And then you type in your message. And when I do student evals, I'm taking off that they can opt out of the panel. That way, because I'm using the class panel more than once, and I don't want them to be able to take off. But if you're doing it for other surveys, you might want to leave that on. To send it, I will do send now. You have to hit save. You have to name it. It will turn green when it's already done sending. And if you want to do a reminder, you have to go down to the actions and you will do a reminder error. You can do a thank you. And if you do send a reminder, you can do a custom. If you do a custom, then you have like a calendar where you can pick when you want to go out.
So are you limited in the number of reminders that you can do?
No, you can do as many as you want. For like when I do the student evals, I do every day until the survey is cut off. Let's go back to edit, because before I want anyone to respond, I don't want the email addresses to be tracked or the IP. We have to change some ideas here. If you want just who you want to respond in your email, you click by invite only. And if you only want them to respond once, you do prevent stuffing them box. And survey, you can tell it when to shut off and start. But here, before you send it out, if you check this box, you will not, there will be no email addresses attached to any of the responses or IP. If you don't do that, you'll get IP addresses and email addresses.
Can you edit a survey once it's been sent out, after it's been sent out?
Yes. Yes. You can do another survey, invite, and change it.
But you can't edit that. Let's say you sent it out for 10 people. Suddenly you remember that you didn't add one question. Some changes, you want anonymous responses.
If nobody has responded, like nobody has responded to mine, I can add another question.
If anybody has responded, then you cannot.
If you do, then the ones that have responded, it's kind of like those data is not really fully, I wouldn't use those data because then you don't have the same data set because it's only shorter questions. You have to be careful on that.
Jaded.
Even be careful on changing this, the different choices and stuff like that too. But you can change,
Anonymizing responses.
right. If you're just going to do a spell check, change spellings, then it wouldn't matter. It still hasn't turned green yet. I just wanted to see when it was going to come out. You can also do check your responses two different ways. If you want to look at each one at a time, you have the first recorded responses, and the second is responses in progress. I have a setting where you can start the survey and close it. If you click back into the link, it brings you right back. So if I have that set, the ones in the process, it's not going to show up in your report. until you close it or the link is expired. And I think I have the link set for a week, 1 week after you click on it the first time. As it's logging in, you got for your reporting. You can do view reports. And it will tell you when you created the report. You click on it. And if you like graphs and bars, you're gonna have to put them in for each question. It's not, and just assume that once you put a chart in one question, you have to do them all if you want the charts. So for question 1, let's say you want that chart. And you can see that there's other options too. And if you really like to play with your data, you can go to the reporting beta, where you can do more, even more detailed reporting than that fast charting one. While we're waiting for this to create, is there any questions?
Accounts are available to everyone, or is it staff, faculty, or are there limitations on who can open an account?
It's staff, and faculty, and students. So it's everybody.
Is there any limitations in terms of number of surveys, number of emails sent out?
No, there is not.
Could this be used for course assessments at the end, or you know the students fill out?
If you want them to be electronic, talk to me, because we should be the ones not doing them instead of having the faculty doing them.
Yeah.
That way, it's totally separate,
Right.
and you're not supposed to see the results until your grades are turned in.
Okay.
How do you create semantic differential scales? Like this, like nice, ugly, stuff like that. I didn't see anything there.
There's a couple of ways of doing that. There's actually called a matrix that you could do it that way. And if you like scale, where you can slide things up, there's sliders.
The scale will just tell you the scale. Can I put left and right?
Yes, yes. And you can also, right now, male will give you like 1 point, and female will give you 2 points. But if you didn't like that way, giving you values, you can also change the values so that like the male can be 2 and the female 1. You can do that on most of the questions except the questions side by side, and that's kind of like a matrix with a couple questions attached to it. For scales, you can do like the slider will give you kind of scales, or you can do a matrix, and you can do
Bipolar.
you can say strongly agree.
My problem, I have to have on right and left 2 terms, and in between 1 to 9 or whenever. So how I do that? Because this is a typical multiple choice, but you put it in the table. But if I have a series of questions that are like, tell me how do you feel? Good, bad, happy, unhappy, and in between I should have 1 it's happy, 9 it's unhappy.
You could do sliders, kind of will give you that.
What does the side-by-side do?
Side by side is it's where you it's like a matrix with more than 1 question. For sliders, though, you can start in the middle and you can go right or left. You will have to look at the different, you have so many options to choose from. Plus you have more options on each side too. Anything else? You're welcome.